excited about kind of where Orkes is going with the DevRel community. I know that you are definitely leading that charge here, and so I wanted to really get a better understanding and an understanding pretty much for everyone on you know where is Orkes at right now with DevRel? What are we doing? Kind of what are you looking forward to in 2025?
Yeah, good question. There's probably so much to say, but to keep it, in a decent time period, I will say that the first goal for me when I started at Orcus was to really increase the amount of direct interaction and engagement with our community. So we have the open source community, which is the largest portion of our community. We do obviously have customers that have even either come from that or come in organically. But the lion's share of the interactions happen either in Slack or online in other locations about the
Yeah.
Conductor open source project that came out of Netflix. And so what I think they really were begging for through how they were asking in their interactions was just for us to be present, just to be there regularly, engage with them, help answer questions. It
Mhm.
looks a little like support sometimes, but generally it's because people just want to use Conductor. They might have a little hurdle, get them past that, and they're excited to go try it. And we're already seeing dividends in just being present with them for a period of time, where they're responding and engaging with other people. We're starting to see more of that bleed over into our discourse, which I think is ultimately a really positive, big first step. And
Mhm.
beyond that, we get into things like content creation and other aspects, but it's really just being present for the people in the community.
Yeah, and I would imagine that, like, we're building strong relationships as well, right? I mean, it's great that, we're able to help and folks in the community are able to help each other, but I really do think that, when we're able to come together, it really helps us build, really strong relationships. Are you seeing, any evidence of that just kind of like in your time here with us?
Yes, absolutely. The couple things that I have noticed I've talked about this internally a lot, but I tend to think I like the metaphor for community building of orbit or the orbit model. There's a lot of them out there. That's the one that
The
just
orbit model.
the orbit
Oh,
model. It's
I
just the
love
one,
the orbit
right?
model.
It's and there's plenty of ways, metaphors to think about it. Or the orbit's like space. I'm a geek, so that all kind of just resonated with me. But when I think about it, that the lower orbit you're in a community, or the closer into the center point, the more engaged you are, which are like your
Mm,
champions, etc. But that's a loose term. For me, the idea is more about I want people to kind of be in the squishy middle where they come in when they need to, they're getting a lot from it, they're having interactions, and they go about their business for whatever time they need it, and they come back. Because your champions are going to be those people who are like they actively want to be a high
yeah,
participant all the time, but that
yeah.
requires a self motivation to do it. You're not going to get someone to become that. So for me, it's all about what you said, getting relationships to be built so people feel like our community, quote unquote, digital
Yeah,
landscape, in person
part of
things.
a community.
Yes, that it's a space, whatever that space looks like, where they know that anytime they need something, they can go back there and they're going to get what they need. It could be for Conductor, but it could also just be general help around I'm developing this workflow. And really, it's analogous to I'm building this application and this piece of it. Someone might jump in and say, there's a better way to do that. And it really has nothing to do with the workflow, it has everything to do
Totally.
with two designers helping to architect something differently. That's the type of stuff that I'm starting to see, in a
Yeah,
limited sense. But I think the big part of it is as we engage them more and show up in their spaces and help them see each other and connect one another, those relationships begin to grow on their own, where those
totally.
people are just interacting with each other. That's really what you want.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's that organic interaction, right? Like that's what the community is all about.
Hmm.
And from time to time, like we introduce our own folks into the community, right? Just to help out, to answer any questions that folks might have, to help engage in discussions, all of those things, and that's what developer advocacy is. That's a small
Yes.
part of it, right? I think there's tons of things that developer advocacy is. I know we talked about that on like at a different time, but
Hmm.
that's one of the things that we see. And so we're going to open that developer advocate role. It's actually already open. So if anybody's listening to this, they're looking for a developer advocacy role, please check that out. But tell me a little bit more about like this role and how you see this role having an effect on Orcus, and exactly like kind of what it would be.
Yeah, absolutely. And something I'll use as a jump off point to this is you made the comment that it's it's not a small part, or like it's a small part, but it's not a small part of the role of the relationship building, because
Mhm.
it is actually both. To your point, it's a small part if you look at the job description, the technical, like here's the list of things you'll be doing. It's a small part. It's one of many things that you're going to do in this type of role. And
Yeah.
it's also a huge part of the role, because at the end of the day, to the comment you made, showing up in the community, whether that's online in a
Mhm.
Slack channel or at an event speaking and you interact with people afterwards, when you show up and are present, number one, you get to be the face for those people and offer support, but you also get to have a lot of empathy and learn from them how they're
Sure.
using these things, how they think about it, and how they articulate it, which can help you come back and go, oh, I was thinking about this problem or situation in this way. Could be
Sure.
documentation,
Yep.
it could be a release, it could be how they just simply use the tool. Come back and go, oh my gosh, I hadn't even realized that they were doing it in this way. We hadn't
Totally.
considered that.
Yes.
That could just be better documentation, more content we put out. That may not even be changing a product. It's like we just didn't know that they were approaching it that way. Oh my gosh, fantastic. That's great insight. And then we can deliver things back to them. So to the developer advocate specifically, that's a lot of what this role is going to do in concept is spend time at events, doing speaking gigs, hosting
That's
booths, those sorts of things. But going to local meetups, being in person with the local communities where they're at, being online where they're at in spaces like our owned Slack and Discourse, but
right. Mhm.
also Reddit and Stack Overflow and Dev2 and all these other locations to provide content to them that would be supportive for those communities, but then also listen to their feedback, listen to their comments and go, oh,
Totally.
you know what? I
Yeah.
hadn't actually thought about it like that. Maybe we can do something else on our side, whether it's new features or simply better docs or whatever else, to make
Mhm.
this a better place for them to come. Because a community member receiving those types of assets, they're awesome. But more importantly, when
Yeah.
they say, "Oh, I asked you a question," and then like a month later you came out and said, "Hey, I literally heard you. I went and made this." That tells them, "Oh my gosh, these people are actually listening to me. I'm
Yeah.
heard. I am part of something. It's not just screaming into a void and maybe a feature will show up one day that was kind of inspired by you.
Totally.
It's coming directly from you, and that's a big deal."
Well, and I think it just gets back to that aspect of community, right? Like
Yes.
that's kind of what this whole thing circles around is one, how can we build the community? But
Hmm.
also how can we increase that engagement with community members and other community members, right? And I
Yes.
didn't mean small fees. Let me rephrase that. In one one bullet point on the job description, there's a lot of, and I know,
Yes.
gosh, I love talking to developer advocates because I really do feel like they're, the axis of sales, of marketing, of engineering, of product, of
Yes.
all of these different of like external relations, right? They're at the axis of everything.
Yes.
And so, when I say just that small thing, it means that yes, it is one of many things, but that particular portion,
Yes.
right? That interaction is actually a very large impact,
Right.
right? So I think there's
Yes.
difference between
100%.
like, you know, being part of a job description and the impact that that has. And
Yes.
so, I happy to clarify
Oh,
that.
no, no. No, not at all. You said it really well, and I so appreciate that you did, because it gives me the chance to really talk about how much, and your like visualization of like almost like a 3 or 4 circle Venn diagram with that
Mhm.
center point being developer advocacy.
Oh,
Not even
absolutely.
let's not even say developer relations as like a concept, but a DA, what a developer advocate does.
Yes.
100%, like you nailed it. Like that is, you have to understand and have empathy for these internal stakeholders and groups at your company,
Totally,
as well
totally.
as the external community, so that you can create that feedback loop back and forth. Because of no fault of anyone's, whether you work in sales or marketing or engineering, like your job is to focus on the thing that you focus on. Your job is not
Yeah.
necessarily to also understand all the nuances and context for people that that you're serving outside of your company, and that's
Mhm.
totally okay. A DA can really help with that, get you more context and insight that you normally can't do, and you allow them to do that for you and bring it back, and then you can decide how best to solve that. Because, and I like to say how best to solve it, because so often I think there's an expectation in some places where it's binary. If I give you
Sure.
feedback, go add a feature. It's like, sure,
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
a way feedback can be handled, but just as often it's the docs just weren't written clearly. We could just create a video on that. We could do something else along those lines that helps somebody, like, oh, well, all you really needed was this thing, because it actually does this for you, but we just haven't made that clear. So I like to expose that spectrum of stuff that can happen, because all
Yeah.
of that makes somebody feel like they're heard. It doesn't always have to just be go add X to the product or go change
Sure,
Y.
sure.
Like those are things, but they don't have to be the only thing.
But and I think to add to your point though, like a DA is polyglot, but also multilingual, right? So
Yes.
like we're
Yes.
speaking a lot of different languages to a lot of different, individuals, a lot of different personas and like
Yes.
groups of folks. And you have to take the internal messaging, put it external feedback, bring it back internal.
Mhm.
And it's just such an impressive role, right?
Yes.
Such an impressive role. And so I'm so excited that we're going to add another one to our team. Um, is there, anything like kind of that would be Orcus specific, that this person would, need, or that like, you yourself are looking forward to working with, like as
Mhm.
somebody who would work directly with this person?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's two things. There's always like two things for me. But I would say the first one is that be willing to rethink anything that comes along. I'm a big Adam Grant fan. He wrote a book years ago called Think Again. And the whole idea was allowing yourself to rethink things you've already decided or
Mhm.
you've thought through. Doesn't mean you have to change anything, but allow yourself. Another way to say it would be like being open to feedback.
Yeah,
Yes, but I like the idea of allowing yourself to then hear that and rethink the position for a bit. Just let yourself be open to like not just the feedback, but what would that actually mean for the situation? If it
sure.
still means do the same thing, no problem. If it means
Yeah,
do something different, that's okay too. But the idea is be okay with anything can change, anything can be different at any time. The value that this a person in this role brings to myself, and more importantly to Orcus and our community, is the
sure.
willingness to think again about something. Because hey, if that wasn't the right thing, no worries. We can just pivot immediately and go do something different. I think
We'll figure it out.
having those characteristics and feeling totally okay with that,
Yeah.
that's a key aspect of the role. And then being able to take that and put it into practice immediately. Like we don't have to wait a week. We can just go do it. If you see something that needs to be done, just go do it. It's okay.
That's like ownership, right? I
Yes.
mean, I know you and I talk about ownership, and I certainly talk about it to every single candidate and
Hmm.
new hire that I meet with, is that, Orcus is very ownership based. Like if you see it, it needs help, it needs something, like
Yes.
just go do it. We don't you don't have to, kind of dive in deep to all these different things. Like just let's get it worked out.
100%.
Let's see here. Is there anything maybe that, I don't know about, that maybe I should know about, DAs, or that I should know about kind of this role that we'd like to kind of share?
Ooh, good question. I would say they are anybody who is a DA has a love for either being a developer, but even if they're
Mhm.
not a developer by trade, it's somebody who loves to make things and then share those things with other people. So oftentimes I have found that I'll say developer, but I really mean any engineer. Any engineer of any type or any background loves to tinker and to make stuff happen and fix things, etc. But not all of them like to be social about it. I'll use social as a term very loosely here, but they don't
Okay,
always
okay.
love that. That's totally okay. The DA, people who tend to fit into the DA role and really enjoy it and thrive at it, are the ones who like to tinker enough with something and then share it with the world. Make a video, give talks on it, share it on social, share it in communities because they know that someone else is going to hear that and go, oh my gosh, like you don't know who it's going to be, but somebody's going to see that and go, oh my gosh, I'm excited. Or, oh my gosh, that actually solves the problem I've been having but
Yeah.
I didn't know how to tell anybody that I had that problem. So I would say anybody interested in this role, and then as a DA in particular or in general, is to really think about it as you like to tinker, you like to fix things, or like to find ways to do something new and interesting, and you enjoy sharing it with everybody. It's that sharing part that I think is really important because anyone can make a bunch of stuff, is capable of doing that, but not everybody really thrives and enjoys the outgoing nature of that. And you really need that to be successful, not because you couldn't do a good job anyway, but you would stress and struggle a lot if you didn't enjoy the outbound or the outgoing side of these things because that's such a prominent part of the role. And that's where you have to have the empathy for other people to say, that's not what I was looking for. Oh, let me think again about that. What can I do to help? That dialogue and relationship is necessary for this job to really be functional.
So passion matters, is I think
Oh,
that's what you're saying,
100%. Yes,
is
passion.
passion
Thank you for being
matters.
brief for me. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
passion matters, right? I I think it's so important, right? Because just as humans, like I think we naturally gravitate towards things that we like doing,
Yes.
and things that we're good at, things that we're passionate about. And so when we look at folks who would probably thrive in a DA role, whether here or somewhere else, like the passion is really what drives it,
Yes.
right? Um,
100%.
So I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
I wanted to say thank you for being the first person to do these types of videos with me.
Absolutely.
Doing,
Yeah.
more. If you are interested in working at Orkes or the DA position that we talked about earlier, please go ahead and apply to our website. We try to get back to applications as quickly as we possibly can. Throw your resume in there, contact Jeff or myself. We'd be happy to have a conversation with you about what it would look like to work here at Orkes. Or send it to a friend or coworker or family member. Distant neighbor, whoever might have the right skills, and like Jeff and I said, the passion to really help ignite this developer community. And so we'd love to chat with you more about the role if you're interested.